New developments to begin tonight. 6 former Michigan Department of Corrections staff appeared in Alger County District Court today for a preliminary exam concerning the charges they face for an inmate's death.
And now TV6's Justin Van Toff takes us inside the courtroom as the prosecution brings its first 2 witnesses.
In day 1 of a multiple-day preliminary exam, Alger County District Court Judge Charles Nebel has begun weighing whether charges against 6 former Department of Corrections employees will move forward in court.
We're going to take evidence, and we're going to take a lot of witnesses over several days to see where this matter finishes.
Scott Sprader, Benny Mercier, Paul Zelenik, Nathan Mosier, Barbara Bedient, and John Crane are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the 2019 death of Jonathan Lancaster, an inmate. 38-year-old Lancaster died from dehydration while in an observation cell at the Alger County Correctional Facility. The prosecution called its first witness, George Wood, to the stand today. Wood was a social worker for the facility in 2019. Prosecuting attorney Philip Jacques began illustrating a history of Lancaster's mental health concerns.
What was the purpose of recommending him to be in that observation cell?
I wanted him monitored pending the psychiatric evaluation.
Meanwhile, one of the defense attorneys, Sarah Henderson, pushed back on Lancaster's need for an evaluation, questioning the legitimacy of his mental illness.
Based on your perusal of Mr. Lancaster's mental health history records and the electronic medical records, did he have any history of malingering?
I believe it was documented, if I remember correctly. I haven't read that in several years, though.
Another witness called by the prosecution was Keith Chamberlain II. Chamberlain II served as prison counselor in 2019. He provided the feeding record for Lancaster, which he said demonstrated Lancaster had entered a hunger strike. The defense cross-examined Chamberlain II, asking if Lancaster had food in his cell prior to being moved to the observation cell. Chamberlain II said he did not do a search to confirm. The MDOC has since changed its policy to ensure both water and food intake is monitored. The prosecution listed 7 more witnesses it plans to call forward before the defense. The hearing is expected to last at least another full day. We will continue to follow the preliminary exam as it continues tomorrow. Justin Van Hoff, TV6 News, Munising.